So the best thing I think any of us can do to improve our music, our writing, is to listen to music outside of drum and bass. And I know that might cause a lot of uproar, but I don't care. Most people get this, but there's a lot of people, and this is more directed to people who are younger in their producing years. Not necessarily younger in age, but maybe you've only been at it a few months, few years, and you haven't really branched out. You know, you're still figuring yourself out. You're still like, oh, these are my idols. I want to make stuff just like them. And that's part of learning, but you're going to eventually have to break out of that. And I feel like the best way, or one of the best ways at least, is to start listening outside of drum and bass or whatever genre you might be producing. You're going to introduce yourself to new ideas, new concepts. You're going to learn to bring things out there and try and figure out how to work them over here. So like, you know, you're learning, you're getting your basics down. You know, when you want to figure something out that maybe your favorite producer does, you listen really closely to their tunes. You listen analytically, you know, you're looping little parts, you're breaking down. You're getting like down to the seconds of how each little shuffle works together, or how maybe the bass modulates this way, and how like an envelope opens, but maybe it's slightly, like you really listen really detailed. You listen to how things change, how they might transition. Now, take those same ideas and apply them to music outside of the genre. So maybe you'll listen to, I don't know, house tune, right? And they might have more loose, organic shakers and things like that. So you might listen to that, really dial in, see how that fits together. Then you take that little thing and you try to blend it over drum and bass. But just thinking about it and being really analytical about it and trying to figure out what works, what doesn't. It will do so much more for your writing. Like, the idea is to take these outside influences, bring them in, and create something fresh. You're not going to create anything new. Like, you're going to hear it 1,000 times, there's nothing new under the sun. But you can take things here and there, and you can mix them and create something that sounds new, sounds fresh. And that's what keeps, I think, us going as creatives, and people more on the outside that are listening. They want to hear something new. They don't want to hear the same thing. At least most people don't want to hear the same thing, because I don't want to mention. Anyway, think about it. You hear a sea of tunes, right? There's new music every day, every weekend. Someone's putting something out. And if it all sounds exactly the same, and it's all exactly what you expect it to be, are you really excited to hear anything? Do you really care? In a sea of like 100 tunes, let's say you do something slightly different. It can be just as simple as, instead of having a straight rhythm, a straight drum break with like straight on the grid rhythm, which a lot of people do, which that's a whole nother topic I want to get into because I hate it. Or you can have someone else's tune with a little bit of swing, just a little bit of flavor, a little bit of seasoning. 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to listen to the one that sounds a bit more interesting, a bit more different, the one with a little bit more swing, a little bit extra edge. You know, a little bit here and there will keep you interested in writing, and will keep people who are listening. You're not about to reinvent the wheel here, but you're going to make a new model of it. You know, it still rolls, still a circle, but it looks a little different. It makes you go, I don't know what it is, but I like this. It's not something you think about when you're learning and you're doing the basics and all. It might be in the back of your mind. It's more once you get those down and you're really starting to figure out who you are and what you want to do. Like, you've done everything it takes to get up to a certain point. Now you gotta start borrowing from other places to get to the next point. It's the whole point of this, is just to open you up to something you might not have thought of, or maybe it just kind of crossed your mind. You're like, yeah, I'll get to that. But it's really useful just to think, corny saying, but think outside of the box, you know? Box, drum and bass, 174, thereabouts. Think outside of that, see what's going on. I'm not saying completely change, completely abandon. I mean, if that happens naturally, go for it, whatever. But understand that you can do more than what's being done, you know? It kind of goes with like the saying of, if you do what you always done, you're gonna get what you've always got. So if you want something different, you gotta do something different. And that's kind of what pushes me along. Like, another is like, make what you want to hear, be the change you want to see in the world, all that kind of goofy, put on the wall, live, laugh, love crap. It has some point to it, you know? Maybe that'll help you cross over whatever barrier or threshold you might be behind. Or you might just want to make another, I don't know, the 9 or another roller or another color by the numbers liquid track with the same think break and the same pad and the same little vocal sample someone lifted from Splice and used it 1,000 times. And you know, that's cool. But at some point, you're going to get bored. No. Just my opinion. I'll see if I can edit this whole thing down to make some kind of sense. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Everywhere else as usual. And I might be doing a little bit more of these, just like opinion-y kind of things. Anyway, later. It's been fun.